coming at you with another cold cut through the spirit. First and foremost, we give all honor and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Mashiach Umanak Yahushua. Yahweh is the name of the Heavenly Father, and Yahweh Shai is the name of the only begotten Son, who the world only calls Jesus Christ. First and foremost, I want to give a strong shalom to all the mighty men that's going out there, they're laboring, presenting their bodies as a living sacrifice, doing all they can to wake up the lost sheep of the house of Israel. They're enduring the elements, 100-degree weathers, freezing below colds, and everything that's trying to hinder the work of the Most High. Shalom, shalom. I want to give another strong shalom to the Akwath, the sisters that are at home, reverencing their husbands, being teachers of good things, and unmarried sisters as well, being tender, delicate, and on fire for the Most High. Shalom, shalom. Last but not least, I want to give another strong shalom to the teenagers and the children doing all they can to make their calling and election sure in these last days. And the topic of this cold cut is in-depth 2nd Esdras 13 breakdown and going into the second coming of Yahweh Shai. Right? It's a lot of mean visions in the scriptures that the prophets had. It's a lot of dreams that the prophets had. And we want to touch on these visions and dreams because that's how the Most High speaks to the prophets and to the men of the Lord in these last days. Right, let's kick it off first with the book of Numbers, chapter 12. Right, Numbers chapter 12 and 6.
It's the book of Numbers, chapter 12, verse 6. And he said, "Hear now my words. If there be a prophet among you, I, the Lord, will make myself known unto him in a vision."
Right.
And will speak unto him in a dream.
So that's how the Most High speaks to the prophets. A lot of people think God is supposed to come down with a big voice, deep and dark, all right, and say, yeah, and call your name. No, you're not Samuel, right? You don't know what's going on. You're on a low level. The Most High is not dealing with that. The way that the Most High speaks is in visions and dreams. Your visions and your dreams are messages, if it be from the Most High God. You don't just have a dream. You seen a dark-skinned man with a sword in his hand coming back to make he was angry, to make his wrath and pour out his wrath on the earth. And you say, you know what? That was just maybe an action figure. Power Ranger. No, that's Yahweh Shai, man. So you want to, these prophets and these men of the Lord, the Most High was speaking to them through visions and dreams. Read on.
My servant Moses is not so, who is faithful in all my house.
So certain men, they get that exception. But for the most part, the Most High is speaking to these prophets in visions and in dreams. And it's a lot of visions and dreams that the Most High was showing the prophets, such as Ezekiel, such as Esdras, such as John the Revelator, such as Daniel. And that's what comes with being a prophet. So we're going to dive into 2nd Esdras chapter 13 and examine what's going on in this vision. Right, let's go to 2nd Esdras 13 and 1.
It's the book of 2nd Esdras chapter 13, verse 1. And it came to pass, after 7 days, I dreamed a dream by night.
Right.
And lo, there arose a wind from the sea, that it moved all the waves thereof. And I beheld, and lo, that man waxed strong with the thousands of heaven.
So Esdras, you got to imagine this. He's seen a big wave come up from the sea, all right, from the ocean. And he's seeing a man his name is not mentioned, but this man, he waxed strong with the host of heaven. Read on.
And when he turned his countenance to look, all the things trembled that were seen under him.
Right.
And whensoever the voice went out of his mouth, all they burned that heard his voice, like as the earth faileth when it filleth the fire. So
this man that he seen, which was so mighty and powerful and strong, He's looking at everything around, and everything that he's looking around at is trembling. It's fearful. All right? And it says, what? And whatsoever the voice went out of his mouth, they all burnt that heard his voice, like as the earth faileth when it filleth the fire. Read on.
And after this I beheld, and lo, there was gathered together a multitude of men out of number from the four winds of the heaven to subdue the man that came out of the sea.
Right.
But I beheld, and lo, he had graved himself a great mountain and flew up upon it. But I would have seen the region or place whereout the hill was graven, and I could not.
Now, we're just reading this to paint the picture. We're about to go over this. The interpretation is actually explained in this same chapter. Now, start at verse 2 again.
Right, verse 2. And lo, there arose a wind from the sea, that it moved all the waves thereof.
Right.
And I beheld, and lo, that man waxed strong with the thousands of heaven.
Now, when you read the scriptures, sea means something. Wind represents destruction. Wind represents some come from one side to the other side. Wind can represent tribulation, turmoil. So that wind that's coming across the sea, guess what? That represents tribulation, torment, trouble coming to the nations, coming from the nations. Let's go to the book of Revelation, chapter 17 and 15. Right? Revelation, chapter 17 and 15.
It's the book of Revelation, chapter 17, verse 15. And he saith unto me, the waters which thou sawest, where the horse sitteth, are peoples and multitudes and nations and tongues.
See that? So waters could represent peoples, multitudes, nations. They're referred to as the waters, the sea. All right? They're referred to as the waves. They're referred to as these different things moving in the waters. Right? So read that again.
And he said unto me, the waters which thou sawest, where the horse sitteth, are peoples and multitudes and nations and tongues.
Right, let's get another precept on that. Let's go to Isaiah 17 and verse number 12. Right. Let's go to Isaiah 17 and 12.
This is the book of Isaiah, chapter 17, verse 12. Woe to the multitude of many people, which make a noise like the noise of the seas.
See that? So multitudes of peoples represents noises of seas, of the waters. Represents the loud commotions. All right? And you see, you go outside and it's a band and storm of people is loud. It's kind of like that of a sea, of a wave. You doing?
And to the rushing of nations that make a rushing like the rushing of mighty waters.
See that? It's all personification. All right, let's go to Psalms chapter 144 and 6.
This is the book of Psalms, chapter 144, verse 6. Cast forth lightning and scatter them. Shoot out thine arrows and destroy them.
Right.
Send thine hand from above. Rid me and deliver me out of great waters.
Right. So David say, deliver me from the great waters. It's about to explain who are the great waters. Read on.
From the hand of strange children.
So strange children in the scriptures are referred to as great waters. So the sea that you read about in Esdras, it's all means something. You have to link it up with the precepts and get the understanding. Now let's go back to 2nd Esdras, chapter 2 and verse 3.
This is the book of 2nd Esdras. Want to go 13 or
13 is like it.
Okay. This is the book of 2nd Esdras, chapter 13, verse 2. And lo, there arose a wind from the sea, that it moved all the waves thereof.
Right.
And I beheld, and lo, that man waxed strong with the thousands of heaven.
Now this man that is talking about Jesus Christ. It's talking about Yahweh Shai. When it says he waxed strong with the thousands of heavens, talking about the angelical beings. Because there's gonna be so many angels around Christ, he gonna catch his takeover. It's strength in numbers. Right? Now, if Christ was going by himself, we're not saying that he wouldn't be as strong. But guess what? If his more people is around him and angels, he's gonna be even more stronger. Because now he feel like he's even more untouchable. All right? That's like this brother, he going by himself. He going into a cage fight one-on-one. He has to depend on his strength. But imagine he's coming with 10 of the Hebrew Israelites. All right, yeah, we finna roll this dude. We finna roll him. All right, it's the same thing with our Lord and Savior. But let's go to the book of Jude, chapter 1 and verse 14.
It's the book of Jude, verse 14. And Enoch also, the seventh from Adam, prophesied of these,
Right.
saying, Behold, the Lord cometh with 10,000s of his saints.
Right. So the Lord is going to come with 10,000s of his saints. 10,000 times 10,000. Who are the saints? In this context, is talking about the angelical beings. Read on.
To execute judgment upon all, and to convince all that are ungodly among them of all their ungodly deeds which they have ungodly committed.
See that?
And of all their harsh speeches which ungodly sinners have spoken against him.
See that? So the Lord is coming back with destruction. With what? 10,000s of his saints, which are the angelical beings. Let's go to Psalms chapter 103 and verse number 20. So it's strength in numbers. Just like it's strength in demons. The more demons is together, the more stronger that band is. It's the same thing on the right-hand side.
It's the book of Psalms, chapter 103, verse 20. Bless the Lord, ye his angels.
Right.
That excel in strength.
That what?
That excel in strength.
Right, they excel in strength, meaning more than one. They get stronger and stronger. The more angels it is, the more stronger and stronger they get. Read on.
That do his commandments, hearkening unto the voice of his word.
See that? So when it says in 2 Esdras 13 and 3, and that man waxed strong with the host of heaven, it's talking about Yahweh Shai getting stronger and stronger, leading up to his second coming with the angelical beings. So let's go back to that.
All right, so this 2 Esdras chapter 13, verse 3. And I beheld, and lo, that man waxed strong with the thousands of heaven.
Right.
And when he turned his countenance to look, all the things trembled that were seen under him.
Because when Yahweh Shai, he has that manly look to him, man. That masculinity, that power, and everything, and he's confident. And everything underneath him is beneath him. He's over it. He's going to subdue it. So everything is going to get fearful. They're going to get scared. Just like how you walk through the room with confidence, people, they looking at you. All right, you might be looking down on them. Keep it walking. Kind of, Jake got his cool walk going. And you feel like you're him. Guess what? It's the same thing with Yahweh Shai. Read on.
Verse 4. And whensoever the voice went out of his mouth, all they burned that heard his voice, like as the earth faileth when it filleth the fire.
So when the earth filleth the fire, it gets weak. Stuff start getting burnt up. The fire starts spreading. when the voice of the Lord, that's powerful. Let's go to Revelation chapter 1 and verse number 15. Right? Yahweh's voice is personified to his many waters.
It's the book of Revelation, chapter 1, verse 15. And his feet like unto fine brass, as if they burned in a furnace.
Right?
And his voice as the sound of many waters.
So Yahweh's voice is as the sound of many waters. It has that authority and it has that power to it. Meaning all things under this earth is gonna tremble. So Esdras, this is a mighty vision, man. This is a mighty dream. Everybody don't get a chance to see these visions and these dreams. All right, except the prophets. So read on in that, verse 5.
All right, verse 5. And after this I beheld, and lo, there was gathered together a multitude of men out of number from the four winds of the heaven to subdue the man that came out of the sea.
Meaning these multitude of men is talking about the other nations. Because when Christ returns in his second return, you're going to have the nations, they're going to try to fight against him at what you call the Battle of Armageddon, which is going to be the final battle that's going to, whoever wins this, that's whoever's going to be ruling. That's whoever's going to be in control. Hey, that's whoever's going to be in power. Let's go to the book of Revelation chapter 16. Right, let's go to Revelation 16 and verse number 16.
It's the book of Revelation chapter 16, verse 16. And he gathered them together into a place called in the Hebrew tongue Armageddon.
Right? So it's going to be a spirit on these other nations. The Most High is going to put a spirit on them, get them stirred up for World War III. Once World War III come on, they're going to see the Son of Man coming in his glory. And Christ is going to gather them into the place which is called Armageddon, which is going to be the battle of Armageddon, the final decisive battle. All right, every nation, every kingdom that rules, you go into these wars, they have decisive battles that finish it off. Like the Battle of Gaugamela, the Battle of Corinth in 146 BC. Guess what? This decisive battle is going to be the Battle of Armageddon. Let's go to the book of Joel, chapter 3 and 1.
It's the book of Joel, chapter 3, verse 1. For behold, in those days and in that time, when I shall bring again the captivity of Judah and Jerusalem.
Right.
I will also gather all nations and will bring them down into the valley of Jehoshaphat and will plead with them there for my people and for my heritage Israel, whom they have scattered among the nations and parted my land.
So when you actually go into these visions, the prophets, they all seen the same thing. Ezekiel seen the same thing as Esdras. All right. Joel seen the same thing as Esdras. Daniel see the same thing as Esdras. All right. Let's go to that. Actually, let's get that precept in 2nd Esdras chapter 12. Right. 2nd Esdras chapter 12 and verse number 11. So the prophets, they all seen the same visions. It's just different ways, different administrations of the spirit that broke down to them in a different way. Esdras and Daniel, they seen the exact same vision, but guess what? It was different. Esdras seen the Roman Empire as an eagle. Daniel seen the same vision of the Roman Empire and the visions of the beast that he had in Daniel the 7th chapter. The great beast that was terrible and powerful. So let's read that.
It's the book of 2nd Esdras chapter 12, verse 11. The eagle, whom thou sawest come up from the sea, is the kingdom which was seen in a vision of thy brother Daniel.
So that same eagle, guess what? That same vision, Daniel seen that same vision. Read on.
But it was not expounded unto him. Therefore, now I declare it unto thee.
So Daniel didn't get the interpretation of exactly what that was. He just seen the vision. And sometimes the prophets, they just seen these visions. They trying to figure, man, what is this? Not even knowing the interpretation. But Esdras, he received the interpretation. That's just to prove it's the same administration. It's the same spirit. So let's go back to 2nd Esdras 13.
All right, this is the book of 2nd Esdras, chapter 13, verse 6. But I beheld, and lo, he had graved himself a great mountain and flew up upon it.
Now, can an actual person fly upon a mountain? No. What mountain is this talking about? Hey, this mountain is talking about a chariot. But the chariot was so huge, it was like it was a mountain. All right, that's how big the chariot of Yahweh Shai is going to be. What's a chariot? Hey, the chariots are the vehicles of the Lord. Is what you call, what the world knows them to be as the UFOs.
All right.
The flying roads. Let's go to Ezekiel chapter 5 and 1. Right. Ezekiel chapter 5 and 1.
Oh, you want 1 and 4?
Ezekiel, it's like Zechariah 5 and 1.
Zechariah.
Okay.
This is the book of Zechariah, chapter 5 and verse 1. Then I turned and lifted up my eyes and looked, and behold, a flying roll.
So the prophets, they seen these same things. Zechariah, he seen the flying roll. But this roll, this flying roll, which is a chariot, is going to be the size of a mountain. That's how big the chariot of Yahweh Shai is going to be. And Yahweh Shai, he got caught up into a chariot. Let's go to Acts 1 and 9. When you read the book of Acts, the first chapter. So these chariots are all throughout the scriptures.
This is the book of Acts, chapter, which one, 1 verse 9?
Come.
And when he had spoken these things, while they beheld, he was taken up, and a cloud received him out of their sight.
Right, and it's not talking about a literal cloud. Let's go to Psalms chapter 104. All right, Psalms chapter 104, verse number 3.
Psalms chapter 104, verse 3. Who layeth the beams of his chambers in the waters? Who maketh the clouds his chariot?
Who what?
Who maketh the clouds his chariot?
So the chariots and the Lord maketh the clouds his chariots. So these clouds are referred to as chariots, meaning these are the vehicles of the Heavenly Father, of the Most High God. So when you read let's go back to 2nd Esdras 13 and 6. All right, this great mountain is a huge chariot that Esdras is seeing in his vision.
This is the book of 2nd Esdras, chapter 13, verse 6. But I beheld, and lo, he had graved himself a great mountain, and flew up upon it. But I would have seen the region or place whereout the heel was graven, and I could not.
So Esdras saying, I would have seen the place in the region where this great mountain came from, but I could not. Read on.
And after this I beheld, and lo, all they which were gathered together to subdue him were sore afraid, and yet durst fight.
So guess what? These nations, they seen Yahweh Shai coming. They seen Christ come back with the thousands of heaven, the angels, the authority that he had, the deep voice, and they was afraid. Showing you that deep down inside, these nations, they're afraid of this truth. They're afraid of the idea of a so-called black man coming back to destroy this earth and redeem his chosen and redeem his elect. They're scared of the salvation of the Israelites. the Jews. That's why they're trying to stop. They're trying to shut down. They're sending out people to try to debunk us, all type of stuff. Because guess what? They fear of the second coming of a black Messiah. They fear what has been talked about from ages upon ages. Hey, this is our only way out.
Only way.
We have no other way of getting saved. If Yahushua doesn't come back to save us, we're doomed. We have no exit way. We're not taking over the so-called white man. We're not getting our own guns and getting our country back. No. Yahushua is the only way that we could be saved. And this is the only way he can make his second return. Like it's mentioned. Other than that, we could forget about it. It's over with. We might as well give up the ghost. So read on.
Verse 9. And lo, as he saw the violence of the multitude that came, he neither lifted up his hand, nor held sword, nor any instrument of war. But only I saw that he sent out of his mouth as it had been a blast of fire.
Right.
And out of his lips a flaming breath. And out of his tongue he cast out sparks and tempests. And they were all mixed together, the blast of fire, the flaming breath, and the great tempest.
Meaning what? Destruction. War. That's not literal. Yahushua, he's Godzilla now. And he's spitting out fire. Let's go to Revelation 1 and 16. Let's link that up. Meaning, out of his mouth, he's speaking that destruction, war, fire. Revelation 1 and 16.
It's the book of Revelation, chapter 1, verse 16. And he had in his right hand 7 stars, and out of his mouth went a sharp two-edged sword.
Right, does that mean Yahushua, he just, he opened up his mouth to burp and a sword just came out and he grabbed it? No, this is all parabolic. Read on.
And his countenance was as the sun shineth in his strength. And when I saw him, I fell at his feet as dead. And he laid his right hand upon me, saying unto me, fear not, I am the first and the last.
See that? So this is, again, the same thing that the prophet seen. This is John the Revelator explaining it. So Esdras seeing this man coming back, devouring and devouring, conquering and conquering. All right, let's go back to that.
Right, second Esdras.
Come.
It's the book of second Esdras, chapter 13, verse 11. And they were all mixed together, the blast of fire, the flaming breath, and the great tempest.
Right.
And fell with violence upon a multitude which was prepared to fight, and burnt them up, everyone, as that upon a sudden of an innumerable multitude. Nothing was to be perceived, but only dust and smell of smoke. When I saw this, I was afraid.
Meaning what? Yahushua, he kind of did his job, man. He destroyed them. Utterly cast them out. Utterly whooped them, as it says in the scriptures. His blood was stained with blood. His garment was stained with blood. Salakia. All right, let's go to that in Revelation chapter 19. All right, Revelation chapter 19. Start at verse 13.
It's the book of Revelation, chapter 19, verse 13. And he was clothed with a vesture dipped in blood, and his name is called the Word of God. And the armies which were in heaven followed him upon white horses, clothed in fine linen, white and clean.
Right, so these angels was all clothed white and clean. Again, the same things we've been reading about. It's the same spirit. Read on.
And out of his mouth goeth a sharp sword.
Right.
That with it he should smite the nations, and he shall rule them with a rod of iron. And he treadeth the winepress of the fierceness and wrath of Almighty God.
Right.
And he hath on his vesture and on his thigh a name written, King of Kings and Lord of Lords.
Right.
And I saw an angel standing in the sun, and he cried with a loud voice, saying to all the fowls that fly in the midst of heaven, come and gather yourselves together unto the supper of the great God. Right? Keep on. That ye may eat the flesh of kings, and the flesh of captains, and the flesh of mighty men, and the flesh of horses, and of them that sit on them, and the flesh of all men, both free and bond, both small and great.
Right.
And I saw the beast and the kings of the earth and their armies gathered together to make war against him that sat on the horse.
Talking about Yahweh Shah, read on.
And against his army.
Right.
And the beast was taken, with him the false prophet that worked miracles before him, with which he deceived them that had received the mark of the beast and them that worship his image.
Right, see that? And it was all what? Destroyed and utterly cast down. Utterly cast down as dust. So read on that. Let's go back to the second Esdras, Salakia. 13 and 12. So Esdras, he's seeing all of this. Hey, he was afraid, man. It's stirring up his spirit. He probably like, man, I need to go 10 times more harder. Or I could be a part of that. You get a vision and a dream like this, it might set you on fire, but you still trembling. So let's read that.
Second Esdras chapter 13, verse 12. Afterward I saw the same man come down from the mountain.
Right.
And call unto him another peaceable multitude.
So Esdras seen the same man come down from the mountain, and this time he just destroyed this other multitude, but he called this other multitude together. Read on.
And there came much people unto him, whereof some were glad, some were sorry, some of them were bound, and some brought of them that were offered.
Right.
Then was I sick through great fear, and I awaked and said, Thou hast shewed thy servant these wonders from the beginning, and hast counted me worthy that thou shouldst receive my prayer.
See that? So Esdras, he's seeing this other multitude, and guess what? He said, I was sick. And that's what's going to happen. You get these, you got to put yourself in the shoes of these men. You see these type of visions. For brothers that know you had the Most High showed you something, whether that was a vision or a dream, or the Most High showed you something. I mean, it could be anything. And you kind of sick. You don't want to eat. You feel like you finna throw up. You trying to comprehend what the hell you just saw. You rubbing your forehead, right? It's not making sense. It's just you out of it. Because this type of stuff will mess up your head. Right, let's go to the book of Daniel. Right, chapter 10. And start at verse number 7.
This is the book of Daniel, chapter 10, verse 7. And I, Daniel, alone saw the vision, for the men that were with me saw not the vision.
Right.
But a great quaking fell upon them.
And a what?
And a great quaking fell upon them.
Read on.
So that they fled to hide themselves. Therefore I was left alone and saw this great vision, and there remained no strength in me.
So Daniel, after he seen his vision, there was no strength in him, man. All right. He further for strength. Read on.
For my comeliness was turned in me into corruption, and I retained no strength.
Now go to Daniel chapter 8 and 27. So Daniel said, my faith was no comeliness, right? I couldn't even focus. I had no strength inside me. Because if you seen the same things that the prophet seen, you're going to be in the same spirit. Hey, like I said, for you brothers, the Most High have showed you certain things, and you know what I'm talking about, man. You feel sick, you damn lose. It's like you losing your mind almost. You in a whole different world. You in a whole different mental state. So let's bring that out. Daniel chapter 8 and 27.
This is the book of Daniel, chapter 8, verse 27. And I, Daniel, fainted and was sick certain days.
It was what?
And was sick certain days.
Imagine you be in you in a trance. The Most High showed you a vision, a dream, and you sick afterwards certain days. You got a lot of brothers, I want to see visions and dreams. No, brother, it's not what you think. The Lord was to show you a vision. You might be sick out for a week. All because you couldn't even comprehend and grasp what the hell you just saw. All right, you throwing up. That's how bad it gets. Read on.
Afterward, I rose up and did the king's business, and I was astonished at the vision, but none understood it.
And Daniel kind of had it a little bit worse because a lot of the visions he was getting, he didn't understand them. Versus Esdras, the Most High showed him the interpretation. So let's go back to that in the book of 2nd Esdras. Chapter 13 and 14.
This is the book of 2nd Esdras, chapter 13, verse 14. Thou hast shewed thy servant these wonders from the beginning, and hast counted me worthy that thou shouldest receive my prayer.
Right.
Shew me now yet the interpretation of this dream. For as I conceived in my understanding, woe unto them that shall be left in those days, and much more woe unto them that are not left behind.
See that? So woe unto them that are left in those days. Because guess what? It's about to get real ugly, man. It's about to get so scary, man. What we think is going to be scary is going to be 10 times worse. You're not going to be able to trust. Love of many is waxing cold. Friends fighting against one another like enemies. All of a sudden, your parents trying to come into the truth now.
All of a sudden.
What was that stuff you was talking about? All right. People bugged out. Your damn high school sweetheart, all of a sudden, now she's trying to come into this thing. Hey, it's finna get into terrible times, man. Perilous times. That guess what? If you upon the earth in those days, you about to see some things you never saw before. You about to be in for a rude awakening. And this is what you call the end times. A lot of people are scared of the end times. I remember I was talking to my mom a long time ago when I was little, right? I said, "Mom, why you don't read the book of Revelation?" She said, "I'm scared."
Yeah.
So you got people, they scared of the book of Revelation, man. They scared of these end times. But guess what? Hey, we love these end times. That's what we preparing for right now. While people thinking we're crazy, we're weird, whole time, all we doing is preparing for the end times and building up our faith and our confidence to survive those. While the people of the world are lost and don't know what's going on, they're not going to know what's going to hit them. Let's go to 2nd Esdras, chapter 6. Right, 2nd Esdras 6 and verse number 20.
This is the book of 2nd Esdras, chapter 6, verse 20. And when the world that shall begin to vanish away shall be finished, then will I shew these tokens. The books shall be opened before the firmament, and they shall see all together.
Right.
And the children of a year old shall speak with their voices. The women with child shall bring forth untimely children of 3 or 4 months old, and they shall live and be raised up. And suddenly shall the sown places appear unsown.
Right.
The full storehouses shall suddenly be found.
Right? It's not going to be no food on the shelves. It's going to be a famine. It's going to be like the movies, man. Read on.
And the trumpet shall give a sound, which when every man heareth, they shall be suddenly afraid.
That's why you have to really, you got to check what spirit you in, man. Because if all hell was to break loose right now, do you have enough confidence right now to survive? Right now. Or is it going to be a woulda, shoulda, coulda? Man, I should have been way more on fire than I was. You got men playing the video games right now. They're not thinking about all hell breaking loose. But guess what? You're going to have certain men, hey, they waiting for, they going to be ready. Hey, they meditating right now as we speak. They going through the precepts, they meditating, they visualizing all hell breaking loose. Practicing how they going to move in it. Practicing what spirit they going to be in. They on fire right now. Read on.
Verse 24, at that time shall friends fight one against another like enemies.
Right.
And the earth shall stand in fear with those that dwell therein. The springs of the fountains shall stand still, and in 3 hours they shall not run.
Meaning what? Friends going to fight against one another like enemies. The earth going to be in fear. Everybody's going to be scary. Everybody's going to be scared. Panicking. Don't know what to do. I'm scared. You're going to have men killing each other, robbing each other, raping women, women being ravished, children being born. Oh, hell break loose. You go down the alley, you see a damn woman having birth. All right? So this is all what? The end times. It is what it is. You got to love it. Let's go back to 2nd Esdras, chapter 13.
It's the book of 2nd Esdras, chapter 13, verse 17. For they that were not left were in heaviness. Now understand, the things that are laid up in the latter days, which shall happen unto them and to those that are left behind.
So now Esdras, he's understanding, okay, man, I know what's going to go on in the latter days. Imagine we went from the Garden of Eden, paradise, to the temptation. Eve going off, Adam going off. Things changing. Then there's Noah's Ark, a whole flood come over the earth. Then after that, Abraham. Then after that, the Israelites, captivity in Egypt. Moses saving them. Then after that, Samuel, the judges, Samson. Then after that, King David. Right? Then after that, the prophets, Daniel. Then Christ coming on the scene, being crucified, which was a huge moment in history. Then after that, the more oppression, leading up to the end times, where all hell is going to break loose. That's a big story timeline. Right? You think Tyler Perry is a great movie director. All right, great storyteller. The Most High is the best storyteller ever, man. He know how to really paint the picture. He know how to make a story worth grasping. So read on.
Verse 18. So like verse 19. Therefore are they come into great perils and many necessities, like as these dreams declare. Yet is it easier for him that is in danger to come into these things than to pass away as a cloud out of the world, and not to see the things that happen in the last days. And he answered unto me and said, the interpretation of the vision.
So, well, I want to touch on that. It says, yet it's easier for him that is in danger to come into these things. So it's better for a man that's in danger of these times for it to just happen to him than for a man that dies and pass out of the world and he's not able to see the things that's going to happen in the last days. Right? And certain people, they don't know what's going on in the last days. They're not going to know what's going to happen. They're not going to know what's going on. They just think guess what? They lived this life on this earth. They had a good life. Versus the people, they gonna hear they gonna hear us prophesying the end times on the highways and byways. They gonna hear us prophesying Yahweh coming back to destroy all sinners and transgressors and to redeem his elect. They gonna hear us prophesying of the famine, the wars and rumors of wars. So read on.
Verse 21. The interpretation of the vision shall I shew thee, and I will open unto thee the thing that thou hast required.
Right, so this angel, he's about to explain the interpretation. Read on.
Whereas thou hast spoken of them that are left behind, that is the interpretation. He that shall endure the peril in that time hath kept himself. They that be fallen into danger are such as have works and faith toward the Almighty.
See that? So the people that's left behind are the people that's endured all things for the elect's sake. The people that have works and faith toward the Most High. Not just works, but guess what? The faith as well. The people that endured into the end. Let's go to Matthew 10 and 22 real quick. So that's the only way you're going to be left behind. You're going to be preserved if you endure and you keep the works and the faith of the Most High God. Not about how much money you have, who are you on Instagram, who are you. It's going to be a lot of celebrities, they're going to be destroyed, man. A lot of people that's clouded up, destroyed. Why? Because they was missing. They might have had all of the fame, all of the clothes, the cars, riches, but they didn't have works and faith. So you can bring that up.
This is the book of Matthew chapter 10 verse 22. And ye shall be hated of all men for my name's sake. But he that endureth to the end shall be saved.
See that? If you endure to the end, you're going to be saved. Let's go to 2 Esdras 9 and 7. All right. 2 Esdras chapter 9 and 7.
This is the book of 2 Esdras chapter 9 verse 7. And everyone that shall be saved and shall be able to escape by his works and by faith whereby ye have believed shall be preserved from the said perils and shall see my salvation in my land.
See that? So only way you're going to be able to escape is by your faith and by your works. That's very important. Everything else, all of that stuff go out the window. The Most High don't give a damn about none of those, man. How many vineyards you have and gardens. No, it's about your faith and your works. Make sure you have works and faith stored up. Don't get caught up in this world. You caught up with the people in the world, man. So let's go back to that. 2 Esdras 13.
All right, 2 Esdras chapter 13, verse
24.
I was on 12. Verse 24. Know this, therefore, that they which be left behind are more blessed than they that be dead. This is the meaning of the vision, whereas thou sawest a man coming up from the midst of the sea.
Right.
Right. The same is he whom God the highest hath kept a great season, which by his own self shall deliver his creature, and he shall order them that are left behind.
Meaning, this is going into Yahweh Shai that have been kept for a long season. That's been a long time holding this peace. Let's go to Isaiah chapter 42 and 13. All right.
This is the book of Isaiah chapter 42 verse 13. The Lord shall go forth as a mighty man. He shall stir up jealousy like a man of war.
Right.
He shall cry, ye a roar. He shall prevail against his enemies. I have long time holding my peace.
So Christ, he's long time holding his peace. All of this stuff is built up. So when he finally gets to appease the wrath of his anger, he's going to let it all out at once. All of the pain, the suffering of his people, the men that crucified him, spit on him, did much evil, the unjustness that's going on. So when he really let it all out, you're gonna feel all of that. All of that is built up through the spirit. So it's I have a long time holding my peace, meaning that's synonymous with the Most High. The highest have kept this man for a great season. Read on.
I have long time holding my peace. I have been still and refrained myself. Now will I cry like a travailing woman.
Right.
I will destroy and devour at once.
See that? He's long time holding my peace. He refrained himself. Hey, I wish I had discipline, man. Self-control. But now it's time, okay, I'm finna destroy and devour at once. So let's go back to that in 2nd Esdras.
It's the book of 2nd Esdras, chapter 13, verse 27. And whereas thou sawest that out of his mouth there came a blast of wind and fire and storm, and that he held neither sword nor any instrument of war, but that the rushing in of him destroyed the whole multitude that came to subdue him. This is the interpretation.
So Esdras received that interpretation of that particular part. Read on.
Behold, the days come when the Most High will begin to deliver them that are upon the earth, and he shall come to the astonishment of them that dwell on the earth.
Right.
And one shall undertake to fight against another, one city against another, one place against another, one people against another, and one realm against another.
Right. It's the same thing in Matthew, the 24th chapter, verse 7. It's going to be people, they're going to be set up against one another. Fighting, all of this stuff is on the rise as we speak. Now, if you're in this world, you're not going to understand those things. You're going to think, well, I don't see this happening. Well, guess what? You're in the world. So you caught up in the things of the world. But when you hop into the spirit, you caught up in the things that's of the spirit and the things that's going to go on. Read on.
And the time shall be when these things shall come to pass, and a sign shall happen, which I shewed thee before. And then shall my son be declared, whom thou sawest as a man ascending. And when all the people hear his voice, every man shall in their own land leave the battle they have one against another.
Because that's World War III. World War III is when the nations are fighting against each other. That's World War III. Let's prove that. Let's go to Revelation 16 and 17. Right? Let's go to the book of Revelation 16. Actually, 17 and 16.
This is the book of Revelation, chapter 17, verse 16. And the 10 horns which thou sawest upon the beast, these shall hate the whore, and shall make her desolate and naked, and shall eat her flesh, and burn her with fire.
Read on.
For God hath put in their hearts to fulfill his will, and to agree, and to give their kingdom unto the beast, until the words of God shall be fulfilled.
See that? So the 10 horns, they're going to hate the whore. They're going to turn against her. That's where you're going to have World War III and these different nations fighting. And guess what? They're going to eat her flesh and burn her with fire. With ICBM missiles and nuclear wars and destruction. So when they stop fighting against one another, they're going to stop what they're doing, stop fighting against. They say, hold on, why are we fighting against one another? He's the one who we should be fighting against. And they're going to try to fight against the Lord. So let's go back to that.
2nd Esdras chapter 13, verse 34. And an innumerable multitude shall be gathered together, as thou sawest them, willing to come and to overcome him by fighting. But he shall stand upon the top of the Mount Zion, And Zion shall come and shall be shewed to all men, being prepared and builded, like as thou sawest the hill graven without hands.
Right.
And this, my son, shall rebuke the wicked inventions of those nations, which for their wicked life are fallen into the tempest.
Because the nations, they gonna have crafty counsels, wicked inventions. Oh, let's escape into our bunkers, right? They're gonna have many evil devices. All right, and this is a cut to you, OT onlys. Because if you don't believe in the New Testament, what about the Apocrypha, which is a part of the what Old Testament? It just said, "Hey, my son." Who is God's son that's gonna do all of these things? That means you have to refer the Apocrypha, which is madness. Meaning you have to. That means you might as well take out the book of Esther then. All right. If you go OT only, you might as well rip out the book of Esther in your Bible. You could also rip out Daniel.
Nehemiah.
You could also rip out Nehemiah, Ezra. What else? You just rip it all out. All right.
Ruth.
See that? Ruth. So read on in that.
All right. Verse 38. And shall lay before them their evil thoughts, and the torments wherewith they shall be I'm gonna read that again. And shall lay before them their evil thoughts, and the torments wherewith they shall begin to be tormented, which are alike unto a flame.
Right.
And he shall destroy them without labor by the law, which is like unto fire.
Read on.
And whereas thou sawest that he gathered another peaceable multitude unto him.
So the other peaceable multitude that Esdras seen toward the end of the vision is about to explain.
Those are the 10 tribes which were carried away prisoners out of their own land in the time of Hoshea, the king whom Salmanessar, the king of Assyria, led away captive, and he carried them over the waters, and so came they into another land.
So the other multitude, the peaceable multitude, is going into the northern kingdom tribes, all right, which were carried away out of their own land during the time of the Assyrian captivity, Salmanessar V. After they left the Assyrian captivity, the Most High brought them into what you call as the known world, aka Mesoamerica and the islands. Read on.
But they took this counsel among themselves that they would leave the multitude of the heathen and go forth into a further country where never mankind dwelt.
Right.
That they might there keep their statutes which they never kept in their own land. And they entered into Euphrates by the narrow passages of the river. For the Most High then shewed signs for them, and held still the flood till they were passed over.
Read on.
For through that country there was a great way to go, namely of a year and a half. And the same region is called Ashereth.
See that? So
Arsareth.
So it took them a year and a half to get from this side of the world to the other. The region is called Arsareth. Going to Jewish Encyclopedia, Arsareth is another name that they identified with, also known as America, showing you that it's going into the known world. Now read on.
Then dwelt they there until the latter time.
And that's where the 10 tribes are going to be in the latter days. Over here, we got brothers. I remember there was a brother talking about Northern Kingdom still in Africa. That's madness. All right, it's giving you the geographical location where the 10 tribes are going to dwell at in their latter days. Read on.
And now when they shall begin to come, the highest shall stay the springs of the stream again, that they may go through. Therefore sawest thou the multitude with peace.
Right.
But those that be left behind of thy people are they that are found within my borders. Now when he destroyed the multitude of the nations that are gathered together, he shall defend his people that remain. And then shall he shew them great wonders.
See that? So after he destroyed the nations, utterly destroy them like fire devoureth the dust, then he's going to defend his people. He's going to beam up his elect. All right, he's going to gather them up for the four winds. And guess what? He's going to beam them up in the chariots. Let's go to Matthew chapter 24. Right, Matthew chapter 24 and verse 29.
This is the book of Matthew chapter 24, verse 29. Immediately after the tribulation of those days shall the sun be darkened, and the moon shall not give her light, and the stars shall fall from heaven, and the powers of the heaven shall be shaken. And then shall appear the sign of the Son of Man in heaven. And then shall all the tribes of the earth mourn.
Right.
And they shall see the Son of Man coming in the clouds of heaven with power and great glory.
See that?
And he shall send his angels with a great sound of a trumpet, and they shall gather together his elect from the four winds, from one end of heaven to the other.
See that? So they're going to see the Son of Man coming in his power. He's going to destroy them, defend his people, gather up his elect from the four winds, beam them up in a chariot. Let's go to Revelation 11 and 12. All right. So this is all a vision of the latter times.
It's the book of Revelation chapter 11, verse 12. And they heard a great voice from heaven saying unto them, Come up hither. And they ascended up to heaven in a cloud.
Right.
And their enemies beheld them.
See that? Read on.
In the same hour was there a great earthquake, and the 10th part of the city fell. And in the earthquake were slain of men 7,000. And the remnant were affrighted and gave glory to the God of heaven. The second woe is past, and behold, the third woe cometh quickly.
Read on.
And the 11th angel sounded, and there were great voices in heaven, saying, the kingdoms of this world are become the kingdoms of our Lord.
See that? So once everything is done, is finished, the kingdom is going to get translated from one to another. Again, that's all during the battle of Armageddon, the final decisive battle. So let's go back to 2nd Esdras 13.
Right, 2nd Esdras chapter 13, verse 51. Then said I, O Lord, that bears rule, show me this. Wherefore have I seen the man coming up from the midst of the sea? And he said unto me, like as thou canst neither seek out nor know the things that are in the deep of the sea, even so can no man upon earth see my son, or those that be with him, but in the daytime. This is the interpretation of the dream which thou sawest, and whereby thou only art here enlightened.
See that? So Esdras, hey, he tried to get a little bit more juice out, right? But guess what? Hey, certain things you just not, the Lord not finna show you. All right? That could be because you might need to get more on a higher spiritual level. You might need to fast 7 more days. You know, go throw up those extra prayers. The Most High is gonna everything is gonna be revealed in due time. And when you read 2nd Esdras, he trying to find out everything. Why this happened? Why this happened? Why this happened? Man, why is this going on? What causes this to happen? What causes this to happen? Not that its intentions was bad, but guess what? It's all up to the Lord, and certain things is too high for you to comprehend. It's above. We corrupt ourselves. How we gonna try to figure out a corrupt world and we corrupt ourselves? But guess what? The Lord blessed Esdras with this vision. That's why it says, by thou only are here light. verse 54.
Right? Second Esdras chapter 13, verse 54. For thou hast forsaken thy own way, and applied thy diligence unto my law, and sought it. Thy life hast thou ordered in wisdom, and hast called understanding thy mother.
Right.
And therefore have I shewed thee the treasures of the highest. After other 3 days I will speak of the things unto thee, and declare unto thee mighty and wondrous things.
See that? So Esdras, he forsook his own way and applied diligence unto the law. He ordered his life in wisdom. You wondering, man, why can't I understand the scriptures in the Bible? Well, guess what? The Most High you didn't order your life in wisdom. You in folly and foolishness, and caught up with the things of this world. You didn't set your mind on things above. Your mind is set up on things on this earth. So of course you're not gonna get it. Esdras forsook his own way. He said, whatever my desires, I don't care about that. I'm seeking the law of the Lord with my whole heart. That's all that matters. And he locked in. So then guess what? The Most High said, okay, you doing that? Now I'm about to show you the secrets. Read on.
Then went I forth into the field, giving praise and thanks greatly unto the Most High, because of his wonders which he did in time, and because he governeth the same in such things as fall in their seasons. And there I sat 3 days.
See that? So Esdras, he going up, he's saying, hey, call on Yahweh Bashim Yahushua. Right? He's screaming, he beating on his chest. Maybe he had a sad moment, he crying to the Most High, he thankful for this vision in his dream. Hey, that's the spirit Esdras was in. Alright? But with that, right, that's second Esdras chapter 13 breakdown. Lord willing, this video was edifying. Continue to read, pray, fast, study. Most importantly, beseech the Heavenly Father for his mercy. That I'm going to say shalom.
Shalom.